Good morning and welcome to Angel's Nook, or whatever time of day it is for you. I ordered a couple of towel racks for my kitchen. In the past, my towels have always hung on the front of my oven door. It was convenient, easy spot to have, and I liked that. But now my new stove has a double oven, and towels hanging there is a fire hazard and in your way trying to operate the two doors. So I needed something different. These particular towel racks fit the coastal theme of our home, and they're actually nicely done. I really don't have a complaint with them, and if the base color had gone and coordinated with the colors in my kitchen, I probably wouldn't be doing anything with them. But this is an opportunity to show you how to fix handles, because it's the same process to paint them using the HTP antiquing gels. Always on these handles like this, there's a spot where there's a seam that the bar was put into. So I've located that because that's always going to be up under here, so I can hide that. But the first thing, as always, is just going to be to wipe these down with a deglosser wipe. They're really not in bad shape, but you want to get any oils or anything off of them. I have wax paper down because the antiquing gel can stick to a surface, and I want to be able to lift them off without damaging them, and that's what I've always done if I was going to change the color of hinges or pulls or knobs with the antiquing gels. And I already have set up and have figured out for myself that I can use these blocks of wood to catch just the corner of the wood to hold up this bar after I put the first coat on here. The metals in my kitchen are brass and copper, and what I'm going to be using as the antiquing gel, I keep a mix of 2 parts of gold and 1 part of champagne as my go-to gold. And that also actually works really well with coordinating with brass, and is actually pretty much the color of what they're calling brushed champagne or brushed gold in the hardware that you can purchase now. When you use the antiquing gel this way, you do not wipe back. You just apply it, smooth it with your brush. A small art brush works the best. And you can have a little bit more on your brush because you can just pull it and get it to cover. This is going to require 2 coats to let it fully cover. And you don't wipe back at all. Because it's an antiquing gel, it's going to take it longer to dry. And you have to bear that in mind, because if you immediately, an hour or so from now, start trying to put another coat on, it's going to pull up the coat that you already have, or dissolve it and thin it. And if you notice, I'm using my thumb to keep the drop down piece. That would be what would be on a handle, or in this case, it's the towel ring. To keep this from laying on it. This angled art brush works really well. Just double check that you've covered everything. And what I do is I like to do the back first on a ring or a handle. It's a light touch with your brush to smooth or you lift the antiquing gel. And now I'm going to pull that down and grab just that corner and put finish onto the top side. You should be able to see that this is covering really well. It definitely will require 2 coats, but it doesn't take long to do it. And if you really like your pulls or knobs for what you're working on, this is a fast, inexpensive way to refresh them. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to finish the other one off camera and we'll come back and do a second coat. These have dried for about 8 hours and the AC was off out here, so it was also got good and hot. So they didn't, usually it takes 12 to 14 hours to get a good dry on these, but it being hot out here really finished drying these off while we were gone. So now they're going to get a second coat exactly the same way. These have dried overnight, and there were a couple places that I needed to do touch up. So now, after doing a couple of those little spots of touch up, because this is a tighter spin than they normally are, I have the bars in the position that they're normally going to be, going up and down, and I have both brass and copper accents in my kitchen. So I'm going to take this color, which is blending really nicely with the brass and with a brushed brass that's on my new appliances. It also matches what is called the champagne golds that are out there, or the brushed golds. So it can go about a variety of different ways to match up with things. But now I'm going to add a little bit of copper metallic over it. And this time I'm definitely going to pounce the brush because I want to be able to control how much gets on here. And I'm going to hold this up out of the way, and I just want to brush across these to bring up some of the highlights of the tentacles on this guy, his eyes. And the high points that have a little bit of a ridge on the top of these tentacles. I'm using the tip there to bring back a little bit more into those eyes. And then on the rim, I just want to add a little bit of copper onto it. Not on both sides, it doesn't need it. It's not going to be seen on both sides. And hopefully you can see, put this back down flat, my fingers will let me. Hopefully you can see that tone has changed on this. This has the copper look to it. It also has a little bit of rose gold look to it because of the layers. But now this is going to blend and match with everything that's in my kitchen. When this is actually screwed onto the wall, I will use a tiny art brush to touch up the screws and add with the gold mix, the golden champagne mix, and a little bit of the copper to blend those in on the wall. But now I've got something that matches my kitchen, and this is the kind of thing you can do with pulls that you need to refurbish or you're just trying to update. Something else that could have been done with this if I was going a different way is I could have used black antiquing gel over the octopus, wiped it back, and it would have left black in the details, which is another thing that's really good on a lot of pulls, especially the antique pulls. It will bring them out really nicely. So, thanks for joining us. Please subscribe and share if you like these videos.